Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm gonna pass around some pictures. So just pass them as you go. My name is Dennis Swinton, owner and operator of Dennis J. Swinton Cleaning Services. We are a junk removal company out of Wesley Chapel. We operate in Pasco, Hillsborough, and Pinellas County. Occasionally we will do Polk or Sarasota County, but it's a little bit of a Polk to get to. Junk removal. Now, if I was to go back even farther to me, where I'm from, I was born in Cristobal, Panama. My father was in the military, so I'm an Army brat. Everyone's heard about Panama Canal. It's a pretty rough place, malaria, mosquitoes, all kinds of that stuff. That's where I was born. I ended up living and growing up in Middlebury, Vermont, way up north, very cold, 45 minutes from Canadian border. From high school, I moved directly out of Vermont because it was a little too laid back for me, although very clean, beautiful, excellent skiing and snowboarding. It's just a little too cold and a little too rural for me. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona from there. There's a little more going on, a lot more going on. I moved from Arizona to Boston, which is a whole different kind of atmosphere. Very exciting, a million places to get food, attractions, Fenway Park, obviously, awesome. I've probably been to around 100 Red Sox games. I moved from Boston to Florida. That's where I've been ever since. I love the weather here. I love being able to go to the beach anytime I want to. Can't do that up north. Yeah, well, that's my background. That's how I ended up in Florida. Does anyone, if I hand this way and ask on this side, anyone take a guess when hauling, junk removal, that kind of industry was started? Anyone on the side want to take a guess? Anyone? 2700 BC. Good answer, right? 2700 BC. People moved big buildings and big blocks with manpower. 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 people would tow a large block to build something. They would use logs to continue to roll it. They take the one out from back and put it in front and roll it, continually roll it. Eventually they used livestock to do that. But if I was to go a little more into current times, in 1751, a gentleman named Corbin Morris saw the need for a disposal team to preserve the health of London's people. That was when we found about cholera. Back then, people would throw their waste out the window. That's where bedpans came from. That's where a lot of garbage, junk, filth ended up in the streets. So in 1751, that's when they said something needs to be done about this. We need to keep our people clean. We need to keep them safe. Brian, who's from New York, probably knows that in the late 1800s, New York was the first city in the U.S. to enable a mass waste management company that would deal with this consistently. So it did catch on over the next 150 years, but it took a while to get over here. Now, what kinds of junk is there? Well, there's hoarding, which means people hold on to any number of things. There's also regular yard debris. People cut down trees, they cut down stuff in their yard, they need to get rid of that. There's garage clean out or house clean out. That's usually mixed waste. That's usually anything from mattresses, sofas, food waste. That's considered mixed. Now, in the 1920s, when the first lever mechanism came into play, and enclosed body trucks came onto the scene to prevent the smell. As you can imagine, in the early 1900s, truck driving around town picking up waste was probably pretty stinky. So probably linger for 10, 20 minutes after that truck came by. So in the Garwood Load Packer came out in 1938, the first hydraulic compactor, which we know now is the garbage truck. So that's a little history on what's happened over the years and how it's become a major industry. The present ways, how we handle now, junk now is slightly different. Now we have landfills, biodegradable material, and we have transfer stations where companies like myself bring the junk, it's processed there. They pack it into an 18-wheeler, and they ship it out of the state usually to be incinerated. Landfills, although in theory makes sense, with far too many materials added to that should not be there. When people, households, a lot of people, they throw whatever it is into their garbage, and it's a mix. There's plastics in there. There's all kinds of miscellaneous debris. The city and state, they don't mandate it too much. They make sure that you separate the metal. They want money for that. But I myself recycle as much as possible. Nowadays, they saw the danger of landfills. They saw that these landfills were getting to be 50, 100, 200 feet high. They would be seen from miles. This constantly becomes a problem for birds that circle that because it's a no-fly zone. It becomes a huge problem for airplanes and airports, stuff that they didn't think of. A lot of that stuff that they thought was biodegradable, it really isn't, or it takes a long time. The way a landfill works is it's stuff that's crushed down. They put dirt on top of it to help it break down, emulsify. They squish it down. They put dirt over it. They hope it deteriorates over time. I think I'm on a time constraint, so I'll just speed this up. Now recycling is far better. Nowadays they realize the problems that they were having with junk. Now it's become a huge business. If you take the time to recycle stuff rather than throw it in the garbage, which it will probably end up in a landfill, there's a lot of money to be made in recycling. Just about anything can be broken down into its original parts and reused. For instance, a TV, the glass can be broken down, the plastic can be broken down. That can all be turned into new products, new laptops, new TVs. What else can you make with recycled goods? Well, you can make countertops. You can make wood decks. If anyone's heard of the Cadillac Ranch, that was one of the first major artwork pieces that was done with cars. There's also a picture. Someone made a beehive that was about 500 feet high that all trash bags. So, lastly with myself, our company hauls the material to the proper facility to recycle as much as possible. Mattresses can be broken down, TVs can be broken down, glass, all of it can be recycled, all of it can be used to make new materials, new textiles. And lastly, copper is $2.80 a pound. That means that any metal actually holds its value more than money itself does. Gold, although it's a lot more expensive than silver, platinum, brass, any of those other things, there's a lot of money to be made in, Ray was saying, recycling. Lastly, how much time do I have now?
You got like 30 seconds.
Okay, I'll tell you a story real quick. Did a job about 3 months ago. Customer paid the rent on time for 17 years straight. Not a problem at all. The woman that owned the house, she died. The house was handed off to the two sons, or two heirs. They could not get hold of the guy. Did not pay his rent for 6 months. This is weird. This guy's been paying right along. They went to the apartment to see, what's going on. There was no electricity, no water. The guy hadn't been there in probably that whole time. Couldn't find them. There's nothing they could really do about it. They needed to get their property back. So they hired me to come in and clean out all the stuff. Well, this person had 300 to 400 different clowns. They had porcelain, they had cloth, they had every which way you could think. They had clowns. It was a little creepy. Normally, I would probably, try to resell that or find someone that likes clowns, but it's a little too creepy, a little too many clowns to hold on to. Didn't want to clean that many clowns, so they're in clown heaven now. And the other odd thing was, I don't know if anyone knows, have you ever seen plastic fruit? Different varieties of plastic fruit. Has anyone seen the grapes? Everyone has got to squish the grapes. He had probably at least 60 strands of grapes hanging from different parts of the house throughout. And this was a 2-bedroom condo. This was not a house. This was a small 2-bedroom condo packed with clowns and grapes. And that's the end of my story and my presentation, and I appreciate everyone's, if more time, I can tell another story. Okay, thank you, appreciate it.